Hello, James here.
Now, gun control measures have been
Let me turn
staggered
this down
and
here.
gun violence has
How's everybody doing out there? James here with another video. I want to, ooh, you realize how loud when you listen to another audio device it is. Um, I've been wanting to make a comment on recently with the politics, with the new terms coming in with both Republican and Democrat parties. And so let me give you a little story. Uh, give you a little story. When I was young, I never really paid attention to politics. I never really, it never really fazed me. It never much thought about it. But these last 20 years, it kind of waking me up. And part of it is just not listen to the main media, but listen to certain things that the lower grassroots media. And sometimes it comes from individuals in the black media and other alternative medias that kind of opened up my mind to what really going on, what is the really politics behind, and what things that they cover. My thing is this: when it comes to this between the voting, it's almost like when I get from my family, it's almost like most family people, they keep you as a mind as a slave, and you have to agree to get along, to go along to get along, because they grew up in the generation where it was, that paved the way, but at the same time that they paved the way, they compromised along the way, and they don't know the whole story and what the generation of my parents have done that have make an impact on Generation X and the millennials and Gen Ys and Gen Zs. They don't. There's a different age gap, and so they're not. Some of them not very advanced and thinking how this came about. How why this generation is different from why can't they just lie down and go along, get along like we did, and just vote a certain way like Democrat. And despite what today's Democrats and the ones that's been in there for over 30 some years, it's the same old thing. It's the same old plot and ploy. Is that you go to these certain communities, you show up, and you reward the ones that you need them for their certain cause. And I understand that. But when it comes to the African American community, and what I'm hearing from the low grassroots, it's the same old thing. Is that they come into the black church. It comes, and this I'm seeing this from media, and a lot of this has been pointed out, and they come in with the same mindset that this is what they're gonna do for you, and 30, 40, 50 years later, the black community in America is still at the same level that it was, and it's just crazy. It's at the same level that it has been, and then every once in a while, some between the Republican and the Democrat community, mostly with the Democrat community, use the black people because they get their favorite black people to so-called talk black language to black people. So what they do is that they just make some unrealistic Pharisees deal. When the other communities ask for help as far as business, as far as something political, dealing with systems in the judicial system, they don't do that They don't do that for black people. They, it's almost like as far as make repairs and make community developments in the black community. Get funding behind it in the black community. You have right now in 2022 a president that's basically is a bigot. But with his tactic, what he do is that he selected a supreme justice because he don't want to seem like he's trying to erase that past like he did with Obama. Like, I'm not prejudiced. I selected a black justice for you guys, and this is the type of thing he's going to do. Because they say, no, Joe Biden, you're racist. No, I didn't. I give you this is part of your reparation. It's like he's gonna pull like what McConnell did, said to the community. Well, we gave you a reparation. We give you a black Supreme Court justice. We give you a black president. What do you black people want? But it wasn't what they didn't go to the grassroots and ask them what they want. We're gonna give you what you think you should have. And if anything, it's like when the different communities might say we need money for improvement for our businesses and things and education. It's 10, 20, 30 million. Black people ask for the same thing. Oh, we'll give you a basketball park and make you, and give you some. Oh, what do you guys want? Because I know you like we might give you some kind of thing like discount on the store on what stereotype that you do. A playground because you guys make better athletes. That's nice, but that's not what is needed. Okay, we give you a discount on processed foods in your community. And we'll give the single black women in your community, we'll give them a certain amount of money. Well, what's the thing about black men? Well, it's like the Hebrew men. They just got to do without. They just got to pick themselves by the bootstraps. And it's a hypocritical thing. It's just the same old thing. And unfortunately, you have some black leaders that have fell for this. You have some black leaders that they allow them to be used to keep the masses down, and then they use a trick magnet and say that the LGBT community, African Americans, got some problem with that, which that's not the case. So they'll throw a trick bag in there, but this is what I'm predicting. That if this coming pre-term into the 2024, if the Democrats lose, it's the Democrats' fault. You got to stop thinking that all black people think alike. You got to stop thinking. You got to respect the small grassroots, not the ones that you pick, not the ones that you assume, and think that they in our corner because we got them. We can communicate with them. There's a lot of black people that are very, very intelligent, that are very, very smart, that understands politics, that understand the clothes of the world, and we're willing to address this and what's really going on. What is it they really need? What is the injustice? But they don't choose that because these people stereotype. Because they look at some guys on TV, how the way they see young black men dressed if they're in a music video, how they conduct themselves, they certain slang, and so they think that they don't know how to handle themselves into intellectual conversation. You keep them up on the substance of whatever, marijuana or something like that, keep them high and let them influence the culture, then we know that they have a low sperm count, a low IQ, and they haven't figured it out that some black people have caught on what they've done. They really have caught on. You can't live in the country for 400, from generation after generation, and not a generation is going to figure out, is going to catch on sooner or later. So this is what both parties don't understand. And so, and then the ones that do raise the cane, they shut them down. They pinging down on social media. They shut their pinging down if they do, because like this person, who was him? He don't have no spotlight. So if the Democrats lose with the African American vote, it's their fault. You should honor, hold up the end of the bargain. Just like it was Barack Obama's fault. So Joe Biden and his cohorts don't win is because of what Joe Biden have been done. If anything, maybe you need to go to those communities like the Asian American communities, which you keep giving $10 million to. Maybe those immigrants you live across the border from all these different countries, and say that they in different states that they get them free Medicaid, get them a driver's license. Why don't you give those people, ask them for their vote? What about the ones that come from warring countries, like soon to be, there's going to be more Ukrainians are going to come into the country. You could ask them for their vote, Democrats. You could ask them for their vote. And the ones that, but the war is coming because once they've been displaced, and it's going to take a certain amount of time to build up the country. So I suggested, so you just basically X out and make the African Americans, and you use certain African Americans to put the other certain African Americans in the underclass. And then you think, because of the way they express themselves, the way that it is, that they won't be able to figure this out. So you don't understand that not every black person have a low IQ. Just because not every black person is not smoking weed and speaking exotic language, and is come from due to their diet and due to what they eat cause their speech, or they cause them to slur, say that whatever they eat has slowed down their mentality of thinking, which that has been put on generations. There are some black people that has been given by God to see the things that's what's going on, and this is what the Democrat Party don't understand, and even some people in the Republican Party don't understand. There's no more we see you visible till we say that you're visible. I think, from what I've seen, from what I've heard from the small grassroots of different African American black channels, black people on different social channels. I haven't been to Twitter, but I've seen enough on YouTube. Basically, what they're saying is that we caught up. Basically, said we've always know what your plan is, but of course they don't get the views, and this is the truth. They think that black people are slow. I mean, that's the truth, and that they never gonna catch on. We play on to their mentality. They play on and they play on their mentality, or what they stereotype, what they see on TV, or what they see. Boy, they're some good dancers. They'll use something to say, "See, no, we really love you. We really like you. We can dance like you. We can rap like you." And they go to the ones, but and try to use them and try to see where their mindset is at, and they don't go to the black people who have the higher intellect and see what's going on, because they have been awoke. They've always been awoke. They've always seen the whole game plan from the beginning. So again, if they lose the term, if the Biden administration and the Democrats in different states, it's going to be on them. And you can't be able to use that. You're not going to be able to use the Black Caucus and all these other people who's embedded. This is what they tell. It's not going to work no more. I say you better learn to respect African Americans at a different level, because you can't keep doing the same thing on the same people for so long, and you can't keep running the same guilt trip. You can't keep running the same plan. You just can't do it. This is a fact. But if they lose, it's going to be because of them. And so what's going on? So my suggestion is, if you're going to keep playing the same old game, just give it to the people that you've been, ask for their vote. Ask the different nation communities you gave tens of millions of dollars to. Translate to the immigrants, which you're going to give them free Medicaid health care and housing to, and housing vouchers. Why 1.6 million or more people who are regular citizens, black, white, and everything in between, sleeps on the streets of America? Because you don't give a damn about them, and that's why your cities on different parts of the coast, is like looking like we in some part of another country that don't have a high income. And that some people call it a third world country. It seems like the third world has invaded parts of the United States. Because you got why is that you got the highest population of people in poverty? It's just that it doesn't make no sense. You have the highest, we're the richest country with the highest population, and all these things is about greed. And then it's almost like you want to say thank you for raising up the inflation on people and make it hard for homeowners and other things. So what had this administration has done? Spent millions and trillions of dollars on unnecessary things that's needed in this country. While your country sink down, you print money overseas while your citizens is hurting, starving, trying to live. And that there's some states that really need things. And it's as everybody else but the people. But when it comes to African American black people in this country, you expect them to climb on board, while you told them in the past you made a crime bill that you differentiate between the sale of drugs, you differentiate the crime, we differentiate in the justice system. And when they ask about the George Floyd bill, so don't be surprised. And that and the African Americans, you just kept on talking to them like they're children. And then you talk to the ones who are intellectually, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if you guys don't like it, you're going to have to share. Okay, Joe. Okay, Mr. Biden. This is the reason why you think you can talk to Putin that way. See, Putin, you think you can talk to some of these other leaders that way. Not everybody you're going to talk to like you're a tough guy, like you're talking to your children. Not everybody's like how you talking to a bunch of teenage boys and girls. Nobody's going to keep taking that arrogant crap. That's what it is. And now you're getting that smoke. You know what I'm saying? And you putting other people in the way. And so if your party start hitting, it's because you ain't doing something right for the people. And it's going to happen in the midterm. And stop playing on this mentality of getting these black rappers and with your liquor and weed commercials, whatever, and maybe throw some basketballs at them or something. Get them to dance or something like that. Because that's what them black people do. I don't know. We'll make it this kind, because they love them big luxury chains, and we'll work something over with Gucci or Versace, because we'll keep playing on that stereotype. Not every black person is the same. That's the message of this video. Not every black person, and some people gonna have to understand that. Not every black person thinks the same. Not every black person has a lesser IQ. So this is the point of this video, in which you hear in the background the lady talk about what's inhumane and injustice, and seeing why a lot of young people, young African Americans, die at a higher rate than any other group in this country, is because we starting to see that you don't care, and then you put the faces and strategically move. You pick the black people that strategically, say, wait a minute, he likes me. He's not that racist. But when you look at history, everybody had their own favorite goody black, and the elder black, but if you pose in the bad black, and everybody else is the N word. It comes from top level all the way down, and it's the same slave mindset that's been in this country for 400 years. When it comes to black people, considered called African Americans in this country, you've done this over time. Well, we'll free some slaves, but with the rest of them, we got to keep them out in the field, because we'll keep them, and we can strip them and traumatize them in hands, because they're not human. They're just a casualty of whatever, and they'll be a casualty of their own destruction. So this is what is going on, and so there's a segment of black people, from what I'm seeing, is waking up, and so in this midterm election, you're gonna find out. You're gonna really, until both parties gonna find out. I think black people, there's a segment of black people have gotten tired and getting fed up. And that's just one of the communities. And it's like, well, we don't need you now. Okay. You keep doing that. And so if the other side gets it, or another party gets it, Democrats, that's your fault. And you can't play the trick bag no more. Your old civil rights people that's in the Black Caucus, you can't do that no more. With respect to the elders, but you can't pull the same trick bag. It's a whole different generation. It's a whole generation of people, and you're going to find out, that we have come a long way, and it's through the Most High God that open their eyes and have their own mind and have their own opinion. You can't use the strategy of Satan to divide and conquer no more, like you've done to not just us but other people all over the world. You can't use that between the lower half and the upper half. Well, the upper half, of course, and you have those upper halves, but they don't make up the majority of the main half. They don't make the majority of when it comes, because unless you kind of manipulate and make it look your way, but you can't, because it's been shown on the world stage, which is the news, on how you truly feel. This is my take on the politics of today, and this is this is what's going on. I'm not really influencing the politics like some people are, but for what I've seen, and I'm not no prophet, nothing like that. But but I can tell you, when I hear people get tired, they get tired. They get tired of the nonsense. If you want to do for all, but put one against the other, people are catching on with that. They can't keep doing stuff like that for so long. Put one against the other, and this is not excluding the other people as poor white or poor Hispanics or whatever. But it's not because they got to go through. They get played too to a certain degree. But this conquer and divide stuff is coming to an end, and I suggest for the politicians, they put it to rest. It's over. It's just it's over. And as far as the Democrat Party, this time, because everything's coming out, find out the Black Lives Matter, all this stuff is coming out. Everything is trick bag, and you try to shut it down. You try to put your threats on the big social media giants. People are going to figure it out. People are going to figure out what's going on. It's a fact. They're going to figure out. They're going to understand what is going on. You just can't keep thinking that people are dumb and that they think that we're superior to them because they have a low IQ. We keep them dumbed down with dumbed down schools. And this is what you've done for the past 60 years with the inner city schools across America. You didn't want to equip them with that. You don't want them to compete. You don't want to bring the other side of these inner city kids up the par. You don't want to do that. Just keep them on a destructive path. And you don't want to listen to the people. You want to handpick the people. You ain't gonna teach these young people how to operate a business and have things like that. No. Just give them a playground and throw a ball, throw a football, a basketball. And that's what keep breeding good athletes. That's all what it is. And you go take there's other percentage of the inner city kids, and lungs that the musicians keep promoting a certain genre of music, and they'll want to go in that kind of music and whatever and follow the style to the point that they'll destroy each other even more. You don't care because there's a certain demographic of individuals is making money off of it. But and then you shut down the people who's opening and trying to wake people up from all walks of life to the African American community because it's tipping skill. You don't understand that your kids that come out from your neighbors that live in those big $1 million places cross paths with the rural kids and come across with the inner city kids because thanks to social media they act out in a certain way. Thanks to social media, they leave the suburbs, come down into the hood, and try to get learn the lingo through music, hip hop style, and so your kids come back and they get back with some conjunction kids, with some other kids from a rural area or what city because you had to design a certain way, but now you got kids out there in the suburban area and some rural areas overdosing because why you make the laws demonstrate that when back in the 80s that crack cocaine is higher in the inner city, you put a whole genocide of young men and young women in there, but you give the same drug, cocaine is something like that, or opioids, you give a lesser sentence. So therefore that there was a higher range of death in the gangs. You plan this out. Now you see the destruction come where some of your representatives that you in your district, some of your children's children have overdosed on drugs. Some of your children they got hooked on some drugs. Next thing you know, because they want to be high and free like some young people do, or some people do in general. And there's a set of people with death. You don't want to set this up that there's a single white males who can't that can't handle certain things of life, but you put it on the black males. Now you're seeing that, and it's slowing down because now you have a single white females is catching up with the single black females, which you design the system for. And so some of the health disparities in the white coming to like the black males, the white males is catching up in health disparity too. The things is tipping over. The same things, and you design the system to keep, and you don't think the system going to balance itself out. But you surprised, and then when it comes to the different laws, you want to, when it came to the abortions, you put it in towards the inner city. When it came to young white females in the suburbs, you put fraternity clinics. And this is what you've done. But no, you don't think we're gonna figure this out? That there's gonna be a segment of black people and other people gonna figure this out? Oh no, because you're superior. Because you're superior. You think that there's no group of people. I don't care if they from whatever part of the world, from the poorest part of the country to the poorest part of Africa to Latin America or Asia. If there's a design, somebody going out of the group of poor people are going to figure out that something's going on. Something don't seem right, and they're gonna have this thing called discernment. They're gonna have, and God's gonna open up their connection and let them know, and let their people know this is what's going on. This person got this superior complex. This is what they're gonna do. But that's all right, because supremacy is an ideology. Is think that we're gonna run and we're gonna roll, and that's just gonna affect them. We'll use these other people, but we really and when it gets down to kind of cutting down the population, then we'll work on the when it comes to white, then we start taking the white people down as well. We got to get rid of these other people first, so we can have to be a certain percentage of people and keep them up at the bottom, so we can stay at the top, and we can program the ones that do. And you don't think that, and that's the goal. And you don't think that black people ain't gonna figure this out, and other people gonna figure this out? A whole race of people, whether they're black, Latino, Native American, that they're not gonna figure this out. And so now I have done statistics on my channel, on the YouTube channel, that's showing that there are white males are starting to be a high death rate, in which it's turning around, and it's no glory in seeing any group of people get a high death rate, but this is what it's come down to. But it's the subconsciously that people is racist, with that subconscious indirect racist people like Joe Biden, and that he just put it, but he said, wait a minute, I'm not so racist because I could hide and deflect. Well, that's the same thing. And I use a story about the Egyptians and the Hebrews. Oh, I don't have nothing against these Hebrews, but it start being too many of them. And then when they start to be many of them, so we got to develop a system, and so we got to get them to sacrifice their children. And so we can be more Egyptians than the Hebrews. We kill their seed, and we play God, and we'll have all the resources, and we'll live in this earthly, heavenly earth, whatever. And ain't gonna be no cause on us. And the same thing was proven through time and history. But in the end, you see what happened. The Egyptians had to pay too. When they selected the firstborn of the Hebrews, Egyptians got it. And same with the other nations that came against the Hebrews. You don't get it. There's a God there's the Most High God that see the balance. There's the Most High God that you don't want to hear this from there's some pastors that really have been bringing this out. He sees the imbalance what you're doing. He sees the superiority, the ideology what you do. He sees it. He sees it at the top. He don't just see it at the bottom. He loves all people at the bottom, no matter what race, color, creed. But the ones he's gonna deal with at the top, and he's gonna deal with them. This is a fact. And so, my mom, gets kind of nervous when I speak on things like this. But hey, I'm just speaking the truth. I don't know who was at the top, but God will expose who's at the top. We don't know who's behind what and what's causing what, who's behind who. But baby, it's gonna hit to the top sooner or later, because when enough people at the bottom start dropping off, somebody's gonna have to drop off at the top. And whoever's running it, whatever system or entities running it is going to one day fall and collapse. You can't just keep doing the same evil thing forever. You can't keep doing it. And so I say this as far as the political wise, don't be surprised when a certain percentage of African Americans have caught up, have woke up and say, okay, I know what you're doing. You playing the good black plus the black pack. You playing my mentality because you're doing it on stereotype. And there's a group of men that say, how do we go to these black people with their low function IQ? Well, we'll get a black person to talk to their low function IQ, and that they'll get them a vote for. I don't know. We'll build a playground for them. We'll give them a couple $1,000. That's not what black people are asking for. Home ownership, oh no, we already got money. We'll do a study on home ownership. Well, we'll do a study on that because right now we just gave the Chinese $20-30 million. We just gave the Afghans $5-10 million because they need some reselling too. Oh no, we just gave it. Well, you just keep on waiting. Just keep on. But we need your vote though. Remember, midterm elections coming. And we are since the one woman that has the same shade of color to you, because she's black, and we can talk and we can dance all up in our visit your church, because I know how you people like to dance. I know how you people like to do this. And I tell you what, because I know you guys like processed fried chicken, right? Well, I'll give you a discount on that. And I know that your women who are the highest rated, I'll give them free money for your children. And so when the children grow up, and we'll give them processed food, and we'll bring out the athletic, but there has to be some. We'll divide the certain ones who have the athletic ability to keep feeding us like the Roman government that we are. But we're not racist though. We're not racist. We're not prejudiced. Oh no. See, it's because the society is because you're intellectual, low IQ, and we need someone to go and talk. And then they come to the different black leaders, and you have a certain way with your people. Can you talk to them in their vocabulary, and so that's why they send certain individuals to do that. They talk. They try to. They say, yeah, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the poor farm. Yeah, they did. And no taking that they did, but they live and eat good off their biscuits now, and they don't mind being used. And black people know that there's some black people like that because they don't mind selling out. It's been like that since the history of time. That's why Malcolm X said about the house Negro and the field Negro. We know this is the Willie Lynch. We know it. We know it's the same tactic. And black people got educated thanks to the system that you tried to keep dumbed down. But there's been certain measures of black people waking up and say, "Whoa, I didn't know that," and other people wake up and say, "No, I didn't know you people went through that either." But it was not just practice that; it's been on other people too. The game take the lowest IQ from the people what they call of color in poverty, of color. And really, no one call themselves of color. I don't think Native American Indian call themselves color. I don't think Hispanics don't like. They really call, most Hispanics don't. They call color. They're proud of their nation. They're not of color. Only people that's of color is basically what you put on is black people. Because when I think about color, I said that's what when they said that for colored people. It didn't say for and anybody they know who they are. The people, no matter if they know who they are, whether they Puerto Rican, Guatemalan, Honduran, Mexican, Cuban, East Indian. You want to go there? They're not a color. There's not a color. It's nationality. There's the heritage. And then if you look at the Spanish, you label them, okay, some choose Hispanic and Latino. But it's not a color. It don't apply to color. And they will probably tell you that themselves. Don't want color. No, because you're a person of color. I'm not a person of color. Well, I'm proud to be whatever one of the 10 Spanish-speaking countries there is, or 5 speaking Asian countries there is. 10, 12. Yeah, ain't no color, and they'll tell you that. They'll tell you that. Heck, even some Caribbean people, African people tell you that they're not a color. That's the American blacks. We're not color. That's what you. They'll tell you they come from the continent of Africa. They're not color. They come from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, different places. They're not color. They tell you that. Not everybody's received that. The Caribbean islands, Jamaican, Bahamas, St. Lucia people, St. Croix people. They're not color. Why are you putting everybody of color? You see what I'm saying? Race do matter. They like to label, America like to label race based on the skin tone, and say, okay, these people relate to this color, so we're gonna put them under a title called the color. Meanwhile, the descendants of the people who were since 500-600 years of slavery in this country can't get a raw deal. They don't want to do some certain Native American Indian tribes right. And when they did get something, they pocketed off for them to a certain degree, certain ones. Then they reward the ones that they didn't infiltrate and put their seed in and lighten them up. And that's how they get the grant. Oh, they look. Oh. And even I just found out this is what happened with certain organizations in the past, like the Mormons did. They tried to make them look like them to the native people, and say that black people are less than. Then they finally changed it, and said, okay, we were wrong now, but now we can step you in. Now you have to be put at a certain totem pole level. America is built on racism. Well, we're diversified. We diversify, all right. We show it because we see it here and we see it here. We see it here and we have a history of seeing it here and we see it here. Maybe other nations around the world see people as natural origins and citizens, but America sees color. We're one of the Western nations that see color. We see color if we see nation. When you go to another man's land, it's nation, Caribbean, African, this, and southern nations. Comes to America, it's color. I know we have every nationality here, but you own the land, yeah, there's certain things, there's certain freedoms we got here, but most of all, when you go into certain places in America, certain neighborhoods in America, it's color. Fact. When they see you, they don't see you as the origins. And you can speak Spanish and you can be from Bolivia or somewhere. They'll say that you're Mexican. They don't get to America. That's how America is. America is like that, man. America sees color. If you're Asian, ask the Asian people who are Chinese. There was people with Asian who look similar to the Chinese caught the worst. No matter you're Filipino, Vietnamese, or Japanese, or Korean, or Indonesian, or Taiwan, and any other people, America sees color. And you'll find some individuals that see and pick out a certain indirect racial name category labeled to you by the dominant society to call you out your name, because so where you from? Oh, so we got a racial name for you. You from the Middle East? We got a racial name for you. You from Africa? We when you get out of pocket, we got a racial name for you. We breed it. We're one of the Western nations that breed it. We ain't no different than anybody else. Don't let people tell you that. When it comes to that factor, and it's the same way go into politics. Put it all together, and they use the and then I know it's a question. Trust me, African Americans don't have no privilege. Just because they select a few out of celebrities and sports, don't make up the majority of it. And it doesn't mean like the rest of us don't ain't been trying to get out of the bondage. Ain't mean the rest of us trying to get homes and get the quality of life, and as far as health disparities and quality of living life like any other human being that they brought over to this country. No, they had put in the laws that they just keep these people subjugated. We'll pull out every once in a while. We'll select a few. And they do that with every race of people here. Why are you shocked and why are you surprised? They do that. But African Americans is the ones. But one day they're gonna have to pay. Because you can't. There's gonna be a time you ain't gonna be able to do that to the Most High God. Say, well, why, well, God, now. Well, I'm not racist. You know, I was good friends with Jesse Jackson, but I ain't gonna be able to pull that one. Oh yeah, Obama. I just loved Obama. Most High. I love Kenita Brown. I wasn't racist. You don't think God knows what you're doing? Neither was the Egyptians. Oh, they wasn't racist. See, and then they explain things away. We was doing it. We didn't want too many Hebrews to be born because it was a health disparity. Because if all these Hebrew so we must find a way to display them. We must have to find a way to reduce to populate, because they're gonna have a health disparity that gives us a health disparity. But we're not racist though. You don't think the Most High God seen this? And so you say, help or them, put them to death while we worship our gods. And that's probably and they justify what they do. America's the same way today like some other countries. You justify your racism. You do. You justify it. And say, wait a minute, I wasn't always racist. But I just think that these African Americans, we're just doing it because we want to slow down. Because if we have a whole bunch of them, then they're going to raise them as criminals. They're not gonna, they're not high functioning. They won't take their children. This is what they think, people. Ideology, supremacy up here. That's why the abortion clinics are high. That's why the prison systems is a money grab. Because they'll use a few, like they try to do with the Josephs and the Moses, to get the mass to keep them where they're at. Same system that you see in the Bible. But God, when the Most High came from 500 years to break that system, and the Egyptians didn't see it coming, and America ain't gonna see it coming, because they can't hide behind I know someone to hide behind the Hebrews, but God called them out. He saved some Egyptians, but he got the ones that want to play in his court, and And this is what America doing in his court, like in every place else on the planet. So that's the truth. This is honesty. I'm just being honest with you. This is how I view it. This is what I've been around. I've been born in this country. I have been one of these kind of black people that been on the other side of the tracks. I started out in the city. My mom raised in the city, and I got to the suburbs. And when I got over to and learned like how a Hebrew boy knows about the Egyptian side, I learned about that other side. I didn't just stay down with the Lodabar people. And when you get around those kind of people, you get the understanding, and sometimes they'll speak in code because they've been programmed. Some people out there been programmed. They're not smart because you come from a people that's a descendant of a slave, and they believe for 400 years that even though you've been educated, that you come from a background, you're less likely not to achieve the things. Because why? And we will select a few that we do just to say that we didn't do that to everybody. It's always same thing. And if you can, and heck, you can look up into the Roman government. There was some Hebrews there. The Rome still after Babylon. It was still some Hebrews there. There was probably some, but it didn't stop. But God, but the Most High, Creator of heaven, earth, and everything, see the same thing. He know what's up. He know what supremacy is. From that level, when you play God and say that I'm better than these people, and I don't think I'll find a way to keep these systems down. I love these people, but I don't like these people. You know, these people, they have a behoof me. There's something about that complexion. Meanwhile, you women, and them to go up into a tanning booth, trying to get the complexion. So see, you see her all Sharpton. You see, I've been tanning. We can go past the bill. Well. You don't think, you can't pour that on most black people, because some black people you can't, because they've heard this song and dance. Some people that's experienced out there over into Egypt understand the game. We understand the game you're playing. You conquer, divide, and deflect. Conquer, divide, and deflect. And all civilizations did the same thing. They watched the destruction of these people, killed the seed off the people, and can't figure out why their land was cursed with the curses. People who kill thousands and millions of people, whether it's by the bullet, whether it's by the bomb, whether it's through any kind of way. Anytime you play in it cause thousands of millions of broken homes, death, and destruction, even though there's a certain out of the certain people that look like us have to take accountability, but you set the stage. There's someone that look like you set the stage. And you say, it's not going to happen with us. But it's through the years of trauma that it was okay. It's the years of trauma that you put a word curse on. When you put it in a language and a lingo, when you designed it to say that it was the shiftless, ignorant, and lazy. And don't worry, we all that way. Come on, guys, put it in your song. Hey, you my nigga, hey, you my shiftless, lazy person. Hey, you got a small IQ. You run like a rat because you're shiftless, lazy person, because you're lazy, anything. Because you that nigga, hey. They don't know that. They don't know that, and they and the satanic that put the system to describe the people that have been in slavery for 400 years as land. When they heard the slavery, they said, we'll take the word, redirect the word, let them boost it in their culture, and let them curse themselves and die up under the very word that they do. So now it don't even have to be a man that has fair skin to put them under death. It'd be a man that looked like them that put them under the death, put them under, because they seen their own destruction and they go promote it. And that's why you see a lot of young men that look like me in their 20s and teens and 20s in street gangs and trying to live that life because it was encouraged. Let them destruct themselves. Now there's 3 ways that we can take them out. They'll take themselves out. Then we'll help them take themselves out. We'll help them put their men in prisons at high rate so they won't birth no more. We'll turn their women against them. Everything is by destruction. You don't think the Most High see this? This has been done before to different civilizations. And different civilizations who done this have paid the price. America's going to one day pay the price. She's paying the price right now. But she's going to have to answer for one of the many ill sins that she's done. So let's go back to the politics. And the politics, the Democrats, is one of the ones that's behind it. They're okay with the Roman Egyptian system. They don't know it's going to collapse. And our people are going to wake the elders up. That's in my mother's generation, my generation. The younger people already see it. Some of my generation already see it. They're going to wake up. They just don't know it yet. They ain't put it together yet. We're not all slow. We're not all of this. We're catching up. We're catching up. Because see, we're the people of the book. Even though we're destroying, we're on the destructive mode some of our people. But we're waking up. You can't destroy. You can't, just like they tried to destroy, Egypt tried to destroy the Hebrews. You can't destroy and contain and maim, prison, abort the Hebrews. Because somewhere along the line, the creator, the maker of the human race, is going to come answer. He's going to deal with these people. That's caused division between man and man. And I heard it's not about black and white. You're right. It's about a certain segment of the elite that they can play God. And it's going to come to their back door. Trust me. It's coming, people. I don't know who the elite is. God knows who the elite is. And they will pay. They will pay. So I just wanted to make a video. But you don't be surprised, Democrats. Don't be surprised. There's some are going to be waking. Some have come to woke and some are still coming off. And you can't keep using the same old blow the harp and come on, keep on dancing. On break, get you a chicken dinner. Keep on dancing. You're going to be at the voting booth, right? Come on. Oh, I know you guys. Hey, I'll give your son a basketball score. Hey, I'll give him the football because you people know how with the big eyes you do. In fact, I know what you do. I'll get Snoop or someone to come to. I'll get him with the dog. That mentality is gonna change. There are some black people waking up. Somebody's name is James. At the end of the day, I'm just a man with truth that waking up people that don't know who they are. Because at one point, I didn't know who I was until the Most High come and got me. So I hope there be more people who will come out of the ignorant state. My prayer for them, and they will wake up and know that they're destruction. And my prayers is for the ones that are in destruction. Because I'm not better than nobody. I'm at the same bottom pole as everybody else. But I'm here to tell my black brothers and sisters, the ones in the skin, I'm the one that crossed over to Egypt. Trust me. And when I tell you this, it's some over there have the mindset. You have a low IQ, low mindset. You're good at a couple of things. You're good at dancing. We see you on video. That's how we learn about you, because that's how we consume your culture. We see you at sports. We don't also. That's whatever the media tell us. That's what we see, because we feel comfortable away from it. That's a fact. Some people are like that, and and some people you'll see it when you be, and in some black people you already see it, and other people you already see it, but some people don't. You'll see. Trust me. You'll see. You'll get around the ones, hey, hey man, and they'll try to come through you to the music. See where your mind is at. You always do. You don't like to see it come out of their own child. Their own child starting up, they just think they're going through a phase. Hey, what's up, Nick? Oh, why is he talking like that? He's just going through a phase. He'll grow out of that. You know these young people these days. No, I'm just saying. Why is he talking like those people? Or he's just going through that. He's just going through that phase. He's young. That's what they tell them out there. They say, hey, you need to stop with this. That talk now. You like sound less intelligent. I know you do, Gerald. I know you do, Chad. But you're not like them. Oh, Dad, I'm just being cool. You know what I'm saying? And he's the one. Well, I can do the F I want to do. Look here. You calm that mess down. You're not like those people. What? And turn that jungle music off. I'm sorry. I turn the intro music off. That's how it is. You prejudiced. Oh, I'm not prejudiced. I'm just saying it's not right for you to do that. Like I like football, and you have to think of a player that they like who's black. Hey, my buddy Howard at work. So I try to tell him. I don't know what's wrong with my boy. He thinks he's part of it. He's just. I want him to get a good education and not be around those kind of people. I've seen them on TV. That hippie hoppers. Stop acting like those people. Man, my old man is racist. Dog, I'm just saying. He live out there, and when they live in where they come out, because they don't see people like you and I, look like you and I, because they live out in Dairyland somewhere. Fact. I mean, and there might be a certain kind of poverty out there too, but it's not like it's hood poverty. They got meth poverty out there. I mean, they come from a place where, it's poverty, but it's out there in a neck of the woods, and literally a neck of the woods, and the only thing that's gangster is the bears and the deer. I mean, that's how we get gangster out here. Man, we go back in your mobile home and shut up. Gangster out here. Last year he be one of the kind of guys. He was raised with his uncle. He was like the country music. He liked it. Rock music. He was Led Zeppelin. Now how in the world did he go to that? They equate the culture with the culture. But this is a fact. And there's some people like that out there. I'm just saying. There's some people are like that. Don't hope, because I've encountered people like this. And then they get really called, they call them the white end. You act like one of those white ends. You call me a white N word. You act like those people. Stop it. You act like those people. Hold yourself, man. That's it. But this the reason why I'm saying this. Some of these people from these politicians, their kids act like that. So they learn everything through TV. That's basically what I'm saying. That's how they only interact with different people, such as black people. Oh, look. They call me something the N-word. Niggy. What's up, niggy? And unfortunately, some people get upset. They look like me, but even though they put out there over social media and let everybody else to hear this, they said, "What can we say?" Well, you're not black. And they said, but it's not an offensive term. Well, it's offensive term to one of us because we say an offensive term with love and endearment. I know it's because of your skin, but we're not black. We can only offend one another. I know. It's just. Please make sense because I know it's in the music, comedians, everything, but we only can offend each other. But because we can call each other because we can offend each other. And the word that it was given, we redirect the word to make it fabulous in the word. So even though the word that with the clothing and the lifestyle with the saggy pants and things like that, well, that's how some people think the new black culture is today. Not all of us, not all black people. There's some that do, because that's just the way they talk. I know it don't make no sense, but most of us think that it's downright stupid and disgusting. But you always got that segment in our community that just think that it's just, that's it. You got that rebellion. And black people we're one of those rebellious people. We set the trend. We good at some of us are good at setting the trend in rebellion, and that's what they attract them. And so when they see their kids acting like us, they like, wait a minute, hold on now. I don't want to hear that jumbo talk out here. And that's what they tell them. Don't talk like that. You're not part of those people. But it's cool, man. Shoot, I'm down with the brothers. You're not a brother. But some black people don't know this. Some of us do, because we've been exposed to people like that. Not every person found in the music. They just find this, well, they talk like, sound like they get that. That's the low frequency, low IQ frequency ones. That's their name. It must be from the chitlins or something. They stereotype you. America stereotypes different people. Every people get this stereotype. Just the way it is. We're just one of the ones that everybody wants. One of the groups of people that everybody take it out on. So it's programming the police, it's programming the system, it's programming in the health system, the justice system, and how the way they police us. Fact. And both parties okay with it, whether Democrat or Republican. So that's a fact. So hope you enjoy this video and hope you get some lesson learned. Hope you get a little entertainment out of it. Next time, you guys take care.